Did BMW lie to beat Porsche? In 2001, they promised 10 road-going versions of their wild, V8-powered M3 GTR. But here's the thing, almost nobody's ever seen one. The car dominated on track, became a legend in Need for Speed Most Wanted, and yet in real life, it's almost like it never existed. So what happened to those 10 cars BMW swore they built? In the early 2000s, Porsche was the team to beat in GT racing. Their 911 GT3R dominated the America Le Mans series, setting the standard for everyone else. BMW's E46 M3 was an excellent road car, yet on the track it was outgunned. The 3.2-liter straight-six made a healthy 333 horsepower, but that wasn't nearly enough to close the gap. BMW's response was to take the M3 in a direction no one expected. Engineers designed a brand new 4-liter V8, codenamed P60B40, and dropped it into the chassis. With that engine, the M3 GTR became a completely different machine. Lighter, faster, and far more aggressive. The noise alone was enough to announce it meant business. Once it hit the grid in 2001, the GTR rewrote the balance of power. 7 wins in 10 races made Porsche furious. And their frustration was understandable. This wasn't just a slightly tuned M3. It was a purpose-built racer, hiding under the skin of a familiar coupe. That's when the rulebook caught up with BMW. The American Le Mans series had a clear requirement at the time. If a manufacturer wanted to use a brand new engine in competition, it had to appear in a road car. At least 10 of them had to be built within a year. The logic was simple. This was supposed to be production-based racing, not a playground for prototypes disguised with headlights. BMW's V8-powered M3 GTR didn't fit that mold, so the company announced a limited run of 10 road cars, known as the Strassenversion. To make the point clear, they even brought one out at Road Atlanta near the end of the 2001 season. For a brief moment, it looked like BMW had satisfied the rulebook. Calling it a road car was generous. The Strassenversion carried the same 4-liter V8 as the race car, detuned to around 350 horsepower, which was still far stronger than the straight-six in the normal M3. The interior stripped away anything resembling comfort. No rear seats, no radio, not even air conditioning. 2 hard-backed bucket seats and a racing clutch were all you got. Perfect if your daily commute happens to be the Nürburgring. Slightly less perfect for a grocery run. The bodywork was pure race car. Carbon fiber roof, hood, bumpers, and a large rear wing all helped keep weight down by nearly 200 kilograms compared to the standard M3. Top speed pushed just under 300 kilometers an hour. Then came the price, €250,000 in 2001, 5 times more than a showroom M3. It was clear this wasn't intended for real customers. The Strassenversion existed to satisfy a line in the rulebook, not to fill orders at dealerships. Once the season wrapped up, the Strassenversion seemed to vanish. One was displayed for less than an hour at Road Atlanta before disappearing into a trailer. Another surfaced briefly at a BMW dealer in Dubai. Beyond that, there were no sales records, no customer deliveries, no chance sightings on public roads. Enthusiasts started speculating. Some suggested a few cars had been snapped up by the Sultan of Brunei. Others imagined they were sitting in BMW's basement under dust covers. And of course, plenty of people joked the only place to drive one was in Need for Speed Most Wanted. The lack of sightings only fed the legend. BMW had claimed 10 cars, yet no one could prove they ever left the factory. In time, the picture became clearer. BMW's own records showed that while 10 cars were promised, only 6 were actually completed. 3 of those were development mules used for testing, then later scrapped. That left just 3 full production Strassenversion cars. These cars existed only to satisfy the homologation paperwork. Regulators needed to see VINs, documentation, and a physical example or 2, not a line of them parked outside dealerships. On paper, BMW could claim compliance, and that was enough to get the GTR cleared for racing. Those 3 production cars never left BMW's hands. They were kept within the company, essentially as artifacts rather than products. Today, all three survivors remain with BMW Group Classic. One is displayed periodically in the Munich Museum, while the other two are stored away, occasionally brought out for major events. None were ever sold to private customers. The missing 4 cars that were supposed to round out the promised 10 never materialized. The plan had been to build them, and BMW likely would have if the circumstances hadn't shifted. Porsche made sure the circumstances did shift. They argued the M3 GTR was too close to a prototype, and the rulemakers agreed. For the 2002 season, the homologation requirement jumped from 10 cars to 100, plus 1,000 matching engines. At that point, continuing production no longer made sense. The car was no longer eligible, so the last 4 Strassenversion models were never built. 6 existed in total, and 3 of those survive today. The racing effort ended almost as quickly as it began, yet the idea behind it left a lasting influence. The V8 in the GTR proved the concept, and a few years later, BMW introduced the E92 M3 with a 4-liter V8 available to the public for the first time. So, did BMW lie to beat Porsche? Not quite. They committed to 10 cars, began the process, and built 6. Then, Porsche complained, the rules changed, and BMW pulled the plug before the final 4 could ever be made. What's left is one of the rarest M cars ever. 3 production examples survive, all locked away by BMW itself. The Strassenversion was never meant to be a road car in the usual sense. It was a loophole on wheels, and when that loophole closed, the project ended. Unless, of course, you're in Rockport.